Addressing mental illness is a significant challenge in rural America due to a number of unique barriers. A new nonprofit is now working to overcome these hurdles amid rising rates for depression. The founder of Rural Minds, Jeff Winton, joins us now to review their efforts to end the stigma around mental illness. Jeff, thank you so much for being with us today. Tell us about your story and how Rural Minds came to be.
Yes, well, thank you very much, Tammi, for having me today. This is a personal endeavor for me, something that has been in the works for a number of years. Back in 2012, my dairy farming family was experiencing an absolutely wonderful occasion, the marriage of my oldest nephew, Toby, who was a dairy farmer. We went from that joyous family occasion to one of the most absolute worst things that any family could experience, when his brother and my nephew, Brooks, died by suicide less than 48 hours after the wedding. He left behind 3-year-old twins. It caught our entire family, as you can imagine, and our entire rural community completely off guard. There were some in the community that didn't want us to talk about this as a suicide. Some said, "You're going to say he died of a heart attack," or "You're not going to tell the real truth. Perhaps he had another health condition." Keep in mind, my nephew Brooks was a very healthy 28-year-old farmer and father of 2. My mom, who helped raise him, and I sat in the study of our small-town pastor's office, and I said to her, "Mom, how much detail do you want us to go into at the funeral?" And with tears running down her face, without flinching, my mom said, "Of course, we're going to talk about it." She said, "It's about time that this rural community started facing what is going on here. And if by us talking in detail about what led to Brooks's death will save another young life and save another family from going through this terrible ordeal, then it will be worth it."
Right, definitely got to talk about it. I understand. I had a niece, 20 years old, take her own life there on the farm, so I do understand it completely. So, of course, along with, and I am sorry about what your family has had to go through. And, of course, to combat this issue, there are fewer healthcare resources now. So what do you see as some of the other barriers to rural Americans receiving mental health help?
Well, growing up in a small town of 500 on the family dairy farm, I know firsthand that there are a lot of barriers that certainly existed when I was growing up, and they continue today. You know, one of the things that we talk about a lot is the stigma. And obviously, mental illness is stigmatized in all sectors of our society, but I think still in rural communities, perhaps more than many others. The other thing is, a person raised in a rural community, such as myself, is taught from a young age to be self-reliant, and that you should be able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and not ask for help. Just like with any other kind of disease, a person living with mental illness needs to be comfortable to ask for help and to seek that help. I think on a practical level, Tammi, there can be a long wait to get an appointment to see a limited number of mental health professionals in rural America. And obviously, public transportation isn't an option like it is in other areas. So it would require time away from the farm or time away from the family. On top of that, as you well know, there are many people who lack adequate health insurance coverage. And telehealth or online video healthcare appointments are a viable option for many in this country, but internet service, as we all know in rural America, can be unreliable, expensive, or even non-existent in many areas.
Right. Oh, my goodness. So before we have to go, please tell us how Rural Minds can help and how we can get in touch with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, we would appreciate it if you would check out our new website, which is ruralminds.org, or call our toll-free number, which is 800-226-8113.
Jeff, thank you so much. And again, our thoughts and prayers with your family, but we appreciate you taking an effort and great strides to help those struggling with this. That's founder of Rural Minds, Jeff Winton. Thank you for joining us today.